The following chapter of Let's Get Deeper was released on the GR8 M8S Podcast on January 18th, 2019. Hello and welcome back to the summer season of GR8 M8S Podcast. If this is the first time you're listening to us, we are a bunch of young Australians who usually discuss our lives here in Australia or pop culture and the internet. Sometimes if you the listeners, give us questions, we'll do our best to answer them, and basically anything that comes up over the course of recording an episode of this podcast. This particular series of episodes in summer is different to our regular format. We get to, I guess, experiment a little bit more with what the podcast could be. So this little mini series of episodes is a Q&A, sort of one-on-one, getting to know each one of us better. And yeah, I think that's the full concept of this miniseries, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Anyways, I am Josh, and on this episode, I've got Bin.
Howdy.
Oh God. Oh boy.
Hello. I just looked at my computer screen expecting a face. I was like, oh wait, no.
No. We are not doing a video call, please.
No. I'm like staring at a wall with my mic in front of me. This is great.
Yeah.
And a lamp. I have a lamp. If you're a moth, hashtag outdated meme. If you're a moth.
Oh God.
Come find me. Anyway.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, I guess for the listeners, Bin, why don't you do a quick TLDR of yourself for them?
Oh, God. How is that? Okay, that's gonna be hard.
Is it though?
I am Bin, or Binaya, Basnet, because I put it on Twitter, so what am I saying? Yeah, Binaya Basnet. I don't know if I wanted to say my last name or not. Anyway, I am a mess in general. I am known as the black sheep of our little group, of our little family now, I guess. And yeah, I guess I'm the one that likes the weeb shit. And I'm also the one that posts a lot of, like, weird memes and talks about a lot of weird memes and is a weird meme at times. Yeah, that's the TLDR of me. Me. Yeah.
I'm surprised given how concerned you were earlier that you were able to summarize yourself.
Yeah, in
5 sentences or less.
I tried. There's so much more to me, honestly, but...
Yes, yeah.
For the most part, that's what you need to know. That's what you need to know. Yeah, that's what you need to know.
Over the course of this episode, we'll get to know Bin more. Jesus Christ. So there's a bunch of questions that I've sent Bin.
Get ready for a really edgy episode, guys, just saying.
Christ alive.
Oh, man.
So some of these questions I will ask almost every single one of us, but some of them are specific for each episode. So I guess we'll start with this one. Bin, given that you love anime and film, and for those who have listened to our music episode through summer last year, music as well.
Hey.
If someone wanted to get to know you through those mediums, what 5 from each sort of medium would you recommend to them?
Okay. So I I limited myself, like, extremely. I don't know if, like, you meant, like, 5 films and then 5 shows and then 5 artists, but I ended up doing 5 films and shows. So, like, there's only 5 of, like, visual media.
Yeah.
And then I have 5 artists, and I included like, I guess, an album that kind of fits in.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the 5 films / shows, this is really hard actually. I decided I started off with like Shrek and like The Godfather and like in the same list, but then I realized like really thinking about it, like I guess the first movie that anyone should ever watch if they want to get to know me is watch Monty Python the Holy Grail, because that like their comedy, like that group in general, just I guess it encapsulates how my humor has, or what I find funny essentially, because they are like I still find them as like extremely funny, like extremely funny, and every time I watch that movie I always laugh without like fail. There's always a joke in there that I either missed from before, or like, you know, it's just really funny, and it's like dumb humor, but like sometimes it can be really smart humor, and it's just like it's like a mix of everything, and it's great. It's just great. And yeah, everything Monty Python does is great. Like, and there are other movies, like Life of Brian and Now for Something Completely Different, although that I think is more like a series of skits. But honestly, out of all the movies that I have seen for Monty Python, my favorite is still The Holy Grail. Yeah, so go watch that if you want to get to know me. Like that's the first movie you need to watch, because then you'll understand my kind of humor. And then a show to watch would be The IT Crowd. And this is similar in the sense of like humor and like what I used to be into, and I guess still am into a little bit. This show I rewatched it recently, and it has like, there are some episodes that haven't really, and some jokes that haven't really aged well because I've changed and obviously the times have changed. There's this one episode that's purely based around, and this is one of the episodes that I have a problem with nowadays, but back then I found it really funny. But it's about one of the main characters. She starts dating a closeted gay man, and they go to a musical called Gay, and it's a homoerotic musical. And it's actually like, in all honesty, if it wasn't for the disabled gay people like thing that happens in the episode, I probably would be more okay with this episode. But in general, that episode is kind of problematic. Or no, not even. It is problematic. I'm just gonna flat out say it's problematic. But there are still jokes in that episode that I find funny, like the end. There's a joke at the end with Jane and I can't remember the names. It's been a while since I've seen that show. But there's a joke where she confronts the person she's seeing about it, and then there's a whole bit there. It's really good, in my opinion. It could be offensive to people, so like, again, be cautious. But no, there's like one episode that really holds up in that series, in the IT Crowd, is the internet episode, where Moss and Roy give their manager a box, and they say it's the internet, and she goes and gives a presentation on the box to her bosses, and then she, like, I think something happens and the box breaks, and like everybody in the room is like freaking out, because the whole point, like the point was that like Roy and Moss were like thinking that everybody in the room would be smart enough to realize that box wasn't the internet, but they were wrong, because everyone in this fucking show, everyone in this office is really dumb, like really dumb, and you know, that episode really holds up in my opinion. That's a great episode. And then an anime. I suggest watching Angel Beats, which is it's an old anime that this one is like, it has everything I like about anime. It has action, it has decent character. It's not as great like nowadays, because it's, you know, there are other anime that are really, really good, like My Hero and stuff. But for the time, it was great, and especially when in my mindset and the age I was when I watched it. I was like 14, maybe 15 when I watched it, and it's the first anime that actually made me cry, like properly cry. And I remember my dad, like I walked out, like after I'd finished the last episode, I got up out of my chair, I walked outside and I watered the plants because my dad had told me to go do some gardening or whatever. And as I was watering the plants, I was literally just crying thinking about the ending, because the ending was like, it's just, if I say anything about the actual show, it kind of ruins it. So you have to watch it to understand why. And you have seen the show, you know why I cried, because it's a fucking sad ending, but like not really. And it's like, because there's a post-credit scene. It's a whole messy thing. But no, it's the first anime that made me legitimately cry. I remember when the first sad thing happens. It's like 11 episodes in, right? And then the first like really sad thing happens, and I was bawling. I was ugly crying, and I barely cry nowadays. And even back then, I barely cried. And so, ugly crying was a very strong reaction. But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I say I barely cry. I cry a lot, but like, ugly crying, I barely do. And yeah, I ugly cry. Like, I sat there for like a solid hour just crying after I'd finished the show. And it was, oh man, it was a roller coaster. It truly was. And then another movie, which is also an anime, is A Silent Voice. I was gonna, this list was all anime before, by the way, as well. Like, I had many lists. But, yeah, so another one I chose is A Silent Voice, purely because, it also has another element of animation, the anime that I really love, which is, like, how anime is honestly better, suited for, like, live action, not live action, sorry, like slice of life stuff, because it really it's great how like the way that they use like visual metaphors and stuff like that to represent our own problems, and it makes it easier for us to understand. Not only that, but the movie is great in general. Just go watch it. It may make you cry. It kind of made me cry at like 2 points in the movie. But it is also seriously distressing because it does deal with suicide, so be careful. Yeah. So, yeah, but go watch it. It's a good movie. And then, the final movie, or final thing on this list is a movie called Loot. Now, I'm not sure if many people actually know what movie this is, but it's a Nepalese movie. And I chose this movie because it's the first Nepalese movie that I actually enjoyed watching, because it was actually like pretty decent, and the plot twist in it is actually really like creative, I guess. But it's weird because it's a cliche, but not really, because you can kind of see it coming, but not really. But yeah, I when I watched that movie, I was like, damn, like that was like, I saw that out of nowhere, it came out of nowhere for me. But no, it's a genuinely like decent movie for a country that is not very well known for making movies at all. It also kind of highlights a shift in Nepalese filmmaking, because I think after that movie, Nepalese movies have been, at least according to my parents, who watch a lot of these, have been getting better, comparable to Bollywood movies, which is saying a lot. But yeah, go watch Loot if you want to, because it's actually a good movie. made by people in a third world country. So, go do it. And then, any questions? Because before I move on to my artists,
I think
any questions?
Move on to the artists, and then I'll
move on to the artist. Okay, and then
Yeah.
Okay. So, the artists, 5 artists that I would recommend listening to if you want to get to know me is Daft Punk, and in particular their album Discovery. Discovery is my favorite album by them. That's my first album. It's my first like physical copy thing of music that I ever bought. And I bought it because of sentimental reasons, mainly because I can listen to it on Spotify whenever I want, because we live in the digital era now, boys. But it is, how do I put it? Well, obviously they're my favorite artist, and it's my favorite album by them, so that's like, there's that. But it's also, I don't know, it's just, it kind of highlights what music I am into in general. It's like, because some of the music is like kind of fast paced and like really like dancey, but then Other songs are very like mellow and chilled, like Viridius Quo, which is my favorite song on that album, or Virtus Quo, or however you say it. I don't know how people say it. And also like Digital Love, which is a fucking amazing song. But yeah, no, there's like plenty of songs on there that are great, but in general, that like kind of highlights I guess it highlights like the range of my musical tastes, because it's not just one thing, but it's also just a great album in general, because it really like tries to capture a like certain concept, and it does it really well. Anyway, that's the first artist you should go listen to. Second artist you should go listen to is Chance the Rapper. Now, I had 3 contenders for my hip hop pick, because I listen to so much hip hop. I had Chance the Rapper, of course. I had Childish Gambino, and I had Brockhampton. All of them are great artists, and go give them a listen. But if you want to get to know me, you got to listen to Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap album, because that is it's kind of the album that, it's really a mixtape. It's the mixtape that really made me fall in love with hip hop, if that makes sense, and more so than because the internet, like because the internet was great from Childish, but Acid Rap really was like it's what got the claws in my back and pulled me into hip hop. There's a song on there called Everybody's Somebody's Everything, and that song is important to me because, and this is gonna get a bit sad and edgy and but there have been times where I have felt really low and really bad and really not great, and that song is a great pick me up because it reminds me that I am not, I guess, I am, at least to somebody, I am, I guess, a rock of some kind, and hopefully, I am, but that song is like, it helps me be happy, essentially. Yeah, but yeah, no, that whole album is great. It's really like chilled and it's just good music, man. It's just good music. And then I decided to include an artist from my edgy teenage years, because I'm no longer a teenager because I'm 20. Ooh. No, but this artist is Eden, who's, I guess, he's not really. Is he an indie artist? I don't know. He's really popular on the internet. That's all I know. And Eden was, he's like personifies my like edgy teen years. And the album I suggest you go listen to is called I Think You Think Too Much of Me, and it's not really an album, it's more of like an EP, but whatever. And there's also a specific song I also chose called Gravity, and Gravity was like my sad song back in I want to say when I was 16. But yeah, it is literally my emo phase personified. If you want to know where all the fuel for the fire that was my emo poetry came from, go listen to this artist, because literally that's what he is. He's a personification of my emo phase. I say emo phase, my edgy phase, I should say. And then I chose Jacoby. Now Jacoby I picked because they're my favorite Australian artist. I say Australian, well, they are Australian. And they are based in Melbourne as well. And they're just so great. They make really funky, really groovy music, and it's really it's a weird mix. Well, at least their old stuff. I don't know. They have new stuff in the works, and from what I've heard, it seems more hip-hop inspired. But their last stuff, and their last 2 projects, which was Holiday and 61 Berkeley. Go listen to Holiday, by the way. That's the EP that I suggest, because that's the first EP that I listened to. The song Holiday is my favorite. And then it would be, I don't know, actually. They're all great songs. Just go listen to it. It's a great EP. Go listen to Holiday. It's only 4 songs, too. So, yeah. In total, they have 9 songs. So, you could probably listen to them in half an hour, maybe. But yeah. They're great. they represent like the more groovy, more like reggae-ish, more fusion like parts of my taste of music in general. They also make like they make really like happy music, but like if you really listen to it, you're like, oh, this is kind of weird, this is kind of sad. Like there's a song called Bank Account from 61 Berkeley, which is about a guy who's trying to keep this girl that he's in love with, but she's only really there for the money. And he's like working 2 jobs and he's really like, he's breaking his ass. And it's like, it's a really sad song, but like when you sing along to it, you're like, you know, it's like, it's all like really upbeat and you're like, oh yeah. And then, yeah, when you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh shit, fuck, this is a bad relationship. Anyway, and then the very last artist, is Clairo. And I suggest go listen to her EP, Diary 001. It's the only EP she has. And it is just great. It's bedroom pop. That's what people describe it as. And I guess it's more like the more quote-unquote indie side of me. One of my mates, he always makes jokes about how my music taste is really obscure, but I feel like Clairo is a very accessible artist. She makes really like just chill songs, and very like, yeah, just nice music, really. That's all she really is. There's more to her than that, obviously, as an artist, but for me, I like to listen to her music because it calms me down. It's very, very chill. And like, you know, I can bop to it a little bit. But yeah. There you go.
That's such a diverse and I don't know how can I word it. It's like you've attached a lot of emotion to the stuff that you've chosen.
Oh yes, buddy.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion that is.
There's a lot of emotion. I'm an emotional
behind
person.
Why you've chosen those things. Yes, that is, and that's been very evident.
Yeet.
Like,
sorry, hold on. Sorry, yurt. That's funny.
That will come and go very
Yurt.
quickly. Yeah,
It's the new yeet, guys. Come on, get on it.
oh good lord. Yeah, so I guess moving from that, what drives you on a sort of day-to-day?
Okay, I've written down a really cheesy answer, but I swear to God, there's more to that. Well, actually, no, you know what, fuck it, no, it's really cliche. It is the most cliche reason, and it is, making other people happy. That's what motivates me, I guess. And that's why I make a lot of dumb jokes, and I do a lot of stupid things, and I say a lot of stupid things. Most of the time, it's for a joke. Sometimes it's a bad joke, and I get that, you know, it's a bad joke. I accept my faults, you know, I don't make great jokes all the time, but for the most part, it's, like, the one thing that always makes me, I guess, energized, or more, energized is probably the way to put it, is, seeing other people smile, because that's just like a really, it's weird, and it's cheesy, and it's really fucking cliche, I know. But like, I get some, like a weird, like, I don't know, I guess happiness is such a weird emotion, and it's like, I feel like we don't experience it enough in our day-to-day life. That's a bell that I should stop playing with, sorry. But like, yeah, I don't know, I am motivated by seeing other people be happy. It's as simple as that. I like to make people happy, and sometimes I fail at it, and I understand that. But for the most part, I feel like even if I am being dumb, and I'm making a fool of myself, if I'm making someone else happy by being a dickhead to myself, like about myself, to myself, then like, so be it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess, like, at the end of the day, like, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, and I'm not making, again, and I'm not making people upset, which is the opposite of, you know, making other people happy, then like, I'm fine with it. Like, that's why That's why I say a lot of dumb shit and I get roasted for it. But it makes other people happy. I get roasted for it. I know I do. But it makes other people happy, right? And so I'm like, okay, sure. That's great. Validation.
Again, not maybe
it's
not the
I know it's
best
unhealthy. I know it's unhealthy.
way to, yeah.
But like I still, but at the end of the day, like the most motivating thing for me is to make other people happy, and that's why I guess I want to do film. That's why I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to make media, so that I can do that in different ways. Because I don't want to always be the guy who is dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not a.
You don't want to just be known for
being the black sheep. That's
being the town idiot.
Yeah. Because like I don't know if like I believe that myself, because I know I'm smart, and I am, and I have been smart. It's just at the moment the only way I can really, I guess, keep moving, because I haven't really found an outlet for that kind of stuff, is being an idiot, essentially. And being dumb. But also memes. I guess memes is an outlet. I make memes. I rarely share them, but I make memes.
I guess that seeing as you brought up your passion and I guess your intention to make it into the film industry, have you got something like what is the film that you would want to make that encompasses you, so that you get to make other people happy? Have you thought about that before?
No, I haven't.
Ah.
I mean, funnily enough, I've never seen a Wes Anderson movie, but whenever I see a trailer or like a picture or something from a Wes Anderson movie, I'm always like, I'm enthralled. I'm enthralled because his color palette and like everything, just like visually, on a visual level, it's so stunning. It is so stunning. Like that's the kind of filmmaking I guess I want to do, where I make pretty films that are visually stimulating, but also I guess mentally stimulating on a dialogue and a action. You know what I mean? But like on a not only visual level, but on a mental level,
Yeah.
And I don't know if Wes Anderson makes good mentally stimulating movies. I think he does. I'm not sure, because I have never seen one. But I heard Fantastic Mr. Fox is great, and I really need to watch that. And I also heard that Isle of Dogs is great, and I really want to watch that too. And I also really want the one movie that I've of his that I really, really want to watch, but I just haven't gotten around to it, is Moonrise Kingdom, because that movie is just like how it's just a pretty movie, and like I don't know, that's like the one thing that I love about his movies, Wes Anderson. Even though I've never seen any of his movies, at least I don't think so. I may have once in like school or something, I don't know, but I doubt it. Yeah, I guess if I want to make a movie, it'll be like that encompasses me. It'll be something that's visually stimulating, but also I guess a little obscure and a little weird when it comes to like the plot and the ideas presented. When it comes to the ideas presented, I guess theme wise, I think I want to really hit on identity and belonging. Definitely, I know it's like such a overused theme, I guess, but it's, I mean, everyone, you can always relate to that. People can always relate to feeling like they don't belong and feeling like they don't really know who they are, kind of thing. Yeah, so I mean, identity and belonging are definitely things that I would want to touch on. I guess things like how what is the theme name? What's the way to put this? I also want to like touch on like, and as depressing and as edgy as this is, I kind of want to touch on like dying and like moving on from that kind of stuff. Like not just dying, but like sad events in general and how we move on from that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like whether it be like your partner cheats on you, or like your granddad died, or you know, or like you know what I mean, or like you know, it's just something like sad happens, something bad happens, and like how do we move on, and how do people not move on? You know, like how people get stuck in that one set of like, you know, they get boxed in by emotion essentially.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mm.
And like
yeah.
learning how to let go and that kind of stuff. Like, oh, I guess it's very cliched stuff, but like, in the end, like, it's all stuff that we can relate to as human beings, because we do get sad, we do get, you know, we do figure out how we move on. Some people don't move on; they get boxed in by their emotions. Some people, maybe their identity is tied to a certain person, and so when they lose that person, it's like, well, who am I now? That kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's all relatable.
Yeah,
it's all like very basic human themes and like stuff that we really just gravitate towards. That's, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I'm essentially saying is I need to make a fucking coming of age film. That'd be. But like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That is interesting.
Are you fucking psychoanalyzing me now, Jesus Christ?
Huh? No.
What? What?
Just because I know at the end of this I'm going to be reflecting on a lot of what you guys have answered to that question.
This is great.
The question of, you know, what drives you, what motivates you, and it's interesting to hear what comes up.
Okay.
When I ask that question.
Jesus.
Yeah. And in a perfect segue, because
great segue.
so great, we should probably get spun by Segway in the future.
Sponsor us.
If you have listened to any episode with Bin on it in our regular season, you will know that Bin likes to do a lot of, most of the time, likes to enter the DNM sphere, and talk about,
I love that shit.
Culture
so
and
much.
identity. Yes. And I guess with that in mind, does the term Asian Australian mean anything to you? And what has your experience been?
Bin? Sorry.
Been.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, my semi-English accent is front and center.
Asian Aussie. I mean, honestly, like, maybe it's probably the way I grew up, and I always had this weird distinction between curry people. Sorry if that's offensive. And like Asian people, which is to me, this is weird because it's like I always thought like the curry people. I don't know how else to like South Asians. It's literally the only other way I can say it. South Asians are like in a bubble, surrounded by I guess Asia, major. That makes sense. That includes like I guess even includes like the Philippines and like Indonesia, which is to the south of us, kind of. I don't even know what to call. Would you call them, or would you call Indonesians Poland? I don't know anything.
Oh, if we're gonna
let's just not go there. But I always had this weird separation between South Asian people and then Asian people, which is
broadly
East Asia. Yep. Yep. So when the term Asian Australian gets thrown onto me, this is a very new term for me. And obviously, like, when you think about it, like, proper, then obviously it makes sense that I am, technically speaking, an Asian Australian, because I am from the continent of Asia. But, I mean, it never really meant anything, I guess, it never really meant anything to me up until now. Again, purely because I had that separation, because I never saw myself as Asian.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's weird to say, but I never did. That's just, I always grew up thinking I was the curry kid.
Yeah.
But even then, I didn't really think about my identity until recent. Like, again, all this identity stuff, it really it's more like, you know, late teens, early 20s bin kind of. That's where I'm exploring now. My ethnic roots, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird place to be. I say recently, this is months ago now. On the 10th of November, because I'm looking at the tweet right now. I read an article by, I can't say her name at all. Thessali? I'm gonna say Thessali. Thessali LaForce. And she wrote an article for the NY Times about, why Asian Americans remain largely unseen in film and television. That's like literally the name of the article. Go look it up. It's great. It's a great, like, it is a fantastic article. Go read it. But she wrote this article or essay, as she puts it, and when I read it, a lot of it was like really like, I guess, relatable. Especially on the identity front, because like, she like talks about like how she as a child would like wear like a wig and like a blonde wig because she's half Asian, half white, and she would notice the Asian parts of her like face more when she would do that. And yeah, I don't know. I found it profound because like I never really related to, and I never really fit in with the other Nepalese kids because like for the majority they all were fluent in Nepalese, but they're also fluent in English. Like they're all perfect bilingual people, whereas I am not perfectly bilingual. I can speak, I understand Nepalese, and I can speak a bit of it. A fair bit of it now because of my cousins, but like I still have a very heavy accent. I still don't have grammar doesn't really matter in Nepalese when you're speaking it, but like it's still there. So I don't really have proper grammar, like sentence structure and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how to write Nepalese, which I don't think anybody else can, but whatever. Still, the point is like I never really felt Nepali, and I grew up with a lot of white kids. Like I went to a primary school, full of like my first 2 years of primary school were literally full of white kids with like only 1 or 2 brown kids that I knew, and then my second primary school that I went to was literally all white kids up until my last 2 years of that school, and then when I moved to my third primary school, I say primary school. At this point, I was at a private school. So yeah, the first 2 were public. This one was a private. And you know, when you move to a private school, it's usually one of 2 demographics. It's either full of like rich immigrant kids, or it's full of white kids. And I went to one that was full of white kids. And then again, I moved after like 1 year at that school, I moved to another school. And that's where I spent the rest of that school was my high school essentially. I went from year 7 to year 12 at that school, and the majority of the kids there were white. There were a few brown kids here and there, and they obviously, I guess, were more, I don't know how to put it, in tune with their ethnic roots. There was one girl that I really admire actually. She was perfectly bilingual. I think she was Punjabi, that's right. But she's perfectly bilingual, like perfect bilingual person. And I was very jealous of her. But yeah, like I don't know. As I grew up, I grew up white essentially. That's how I put it. I'm like, sure, when I eat food and like when I prefer spicy food. I prefer all that kind of like like typical brown Asian stereotypes. But like.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like the music I listen to, when it comes to like the people I prefer to spend my time with, generally I'm fairly like white. you know? But at the same time, like, what does that even mean to be white, and what does it even mean to me, like, Nepalese, like, all that kind of shit? That's, like, a deep question, I know. But, like, to me, that just means that, like, I don't really fit into any stereotype. I'm just me, I guess, you know? Because, like, there are still parts of me that are very rooted in my, like, culture, I guess. I still, like, honor tradition, and I still honor, like, rituals, like, religious rituals, even though I'm not religious. I still, like, do a lot of, like, Nepalese things. I still, you know, still talk with, the Nepalese community and stuff. It's not like I'm rejecting that part of me, especially now. Like, I used to, because I didn't understand, but now I'm not. Now I'm more like, well, this is who I am. Like, this is who I am. Like, this is part of me, and I need to accept that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, being an Asian Australian doesn't really mean much to me, because I'm not... Sometimes I don't see myself as either Asian or, like, curry in this case. Sorry. Or Australian sometimes. And then there are times where I see myself as both, you know, and then there are times where I see myself as only one, and I see myself as, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't... That label doesn't really fit, I guess. Perfect. That doesn't fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'll save what my thoughts are on that.
Okay.
Because obviously, at the very end, I'm gonna reflect on a lot of these answers, because yeah, people are different, and people are wonderfully complex.
No,
so
Jesus Christ. Am I though? I'm just a meme. Come on. Haha.
Oh, wow. Oh boy.
If you reduce me down to my basic element, it'll literally just be a meme. I'm just a meme, guys. That's all it is.
Okay then. If we are going to go down that road, which
Jesus
meme
Christ.
would you be?
Which meme would I be? I feel like I would be...
Well, okay.
I feel like I would be like, is this a pigeon meme? You know that one? The Yatoro meme?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I would be that.
The butterfly and the guy and the guy thinks
feel
it's
like
a
I would be
pigeon.
that meme. That's me.
And what would it have?
What
would the...
It would be me, obviously, as Yatoro. I think that's his name. I don't
And
know.
the butterfly would be...
And the butterfly would be like, it would be like edgy humor, and then no, not even humor, just be like edgy stuff, and then the caption would be "Is this humor?" ?
Ah, yes, that describes you perfectly. So obviously for the promo for this episode, I am going to
do that. Yes, please.
A version of that.
Yes, please. Oh, that's great.
Oh boy. Oh, good lord. But yeah, I feel like that does describe you a little too well.
Yurt.
Oh Christ! Can't believe you're still going.
I will make it a thing.
That.
It'll be a thing.
Look, you know the whole yeet thing, right?
Yeah.
And the whole lit thing. We had this discussion a few weeks ago, because I didn't know if Fuego was new or old, or
It's
where
old, man.
it fits.
It's 2016, bro. It's old
Oh
shit.
Christ!
Fuego.
Yeah.
Fuego.
And then Fuego. Jesus. Yeah.
What am I, old? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, relatively speaking.
Jesus Christ, shut up. I know people who are turning 30 next year, so please.
Yeah, well, I do too. Don't worry.
Being older than me, damn it. You and your older friends?
Yes, me and my older and younger friends.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway. God. Anyways, there aren't that many questions left, which is good for you and good for me.
Rip.
So we're going to do a little bit of reflecting.
Okay. It was like,
so if there is something you would want to say to your younger self, and by younger self, it doesn't matter if, if it's a kid or 18-year-old you, I guess. And, and by extension, I guess if anyone else is listening who has sort of been, in a similar situation, what would you say to your younger self?
I would say this. I've written it down. I would say, fuck expectations, fuck being popular, and stick to the mates you know well. That's what I would tell my younger self. Especially, this is like specifically targeted towards 16-year-old me. Because it's around that time where I made a lot of friends, and I say like friends in air quotes. I mean, I'm still, like, friendly with these people, and I still talk to some of them, but, like, in the end, some of these people come back to bite you in the ass, because you're a fucking pushover when you're 20. But also, you do a lot of, you become something that you regret when you're 20, when you're thinking about being popular, and you're thinking about, meeting expectations, especially the expectations of your parents, because that's not going to happen. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, buddy. You fail to meet expectations, so that's why I say fuck expectations. Do what you want. Go pursue media like you wanted to. Go pursue legal studies like you wanted to. Don't do physics. Don't do maths, because you hate them both. Yeah, it's just like, you do a lot of, like, dumb things, and and when I mean do, I mean, like, there are times where you are a bystander, and that's not okay, and there are times where you actively, participate in the activity, and that's not okay either, especially when now, this person that you, I guess, were unjust to, is a good friend, and a very gentle being, and somehow, I don't know why I was like that. I think it's because I wanted to be popular, and I really did care a lot about what people thought back then. And I regret it deeply, like, deeply. I still haven't had the courage to actually say sorry to this guy. But yeah, like, stick to the mates you know. Stick to Nelson. He knows what he's doing. Like, legitimately knows what he's doing. Yeah. And don't be afraid to be... Yeah, again, don't be afraid of mum and dad, because they're not all-powerful, I guess. I don't know. Just do what you want. That's what I would say. Yeah. There's a lot of things I regret about high school, because it was a mix mash of, like, stress, anxiety, and then a lot of just, like, me wanting to be, like, validated and, like, be friends with everybody kind of thing, which is not great.
Yeah.
Because, like, firstly, you spread yourself thin, but there are then times where you literally have to pick a side, and you're like, well, fuck. There are things that I am proud of that my younger person did, like the younger me did, but for the most part, there are, like, two big things that I really regret, especially now, because one of those people that I was really unfairly, I treated him unfairly. No, you know what? I would even call it, like, bullying at some level, right? I bullied him, which is not great, because I don't want to be a bully, but I was. And that's something I really, like, it's insane how much I regret it. Like, my mate, like, Nelson knows about it. Nelson knows that I feel this way, and I told him, like, a while ago, and he says, like, he doesn't really care. And I know you think that, but, like, I know what it's like to be in my own head, and if it's even like a quarter of that, then that's fucked. And if I somehow contributed to any negative thinking of his, I feel extremely, like, just, like, distraught that I could contribute to a negative headspace, and I hate that about myself. Like, legitimately hate that part of my, like, teenage years, because I wanted to be popular, and that's not on. That's not okay. It's never okay to be that way, And I was an outcast. Like, my friends were all the nerds. Like, I was friends with all the nerds up until that point. And then somehow I managed to become friends with somebody else who was more popular than I was, and then I wanted to become more popular. And I fucked over my friends. So, and now, like, it's weird, because the guy that I essentially bullied, by not only by being a bystander, but sometimes I would say things to him, and it was not great. I don't think I ever, like, said anything super mean, but I would participate, and it's not good. I don't know, I can't remember what I said when I was that old, because it was a fucking blur, but I know I was negative, and that's not good. That's never okay. Like, 1000% don't do that. At all. Please. Even children, just don't be negative. Spread that love, spread that positivity, man. But no, it's weird, because he recently, as of this recording, not when this comes out, invited me to his 21st, and I was surprised. I was, like, taken aback. I didn't realize he would do that, especially because we didn't really talk much, after high school. I mean, I saw him around at uni, because we went to the same uni, but, you know, this year, I was fairly radio silent. I would talk to him occasionally. Yeah, I don't know, I don't know, there's something about doing that kind of stuff that really just pisses me off now. And especially, again, I don't know, I keep repeating myself, I just regret that so much. Especially, like, being a part of that, and being a bystander, and not standing up for him when I should have. Because he was, I guess, he was an outcast like I was. And, like, I don't understand why, I don't know. Yeah, teen me, fuck being popular, man. Stick to the friends you know. Stand up for your friends, too. Sorry. I almost cried then, sorry.
No, that's okay.
But
I mean, you know, yeah.
There's a lot of things that I hate about myself, but, like, that's, like, probably one of the biggest things. And, like, my biggest regret.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah, it is important to, I guess, note, you know, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
But it is, and I guess that particular question, I guess, is aimed at, people that might be listening that, you know, could really use that sort of advice, because who knows, it could help them, and yeah, it's a good way to sort of look back and acknowledge that, you know, shit happens, but you
acknowledge that you were a shitty person at one point.
Yeah.
And or still are a shitty person, you know. Hey, I ain't judging. I mean, I am, but I'm not.
You just strive to be better.
Strive to be better than me. I'm like the baseline. I'm like the baseline.
What's that, the base?
I'm very low on the ladder of being a good person. If you can be better than me, then hey, look, you're on your way to being a great person.
Yeah, if bin is the threshold to get into the good place.
Exactly.
Holy shit, that's
Literally everybody. Literally everybody. Oh man.
Oh dear. And I guess we'll jump from past to future.
Oh. Future.
Yeah. Let's do a little bit of goaling, shall we? Seeing as this podcast will be released in 2019, did you have any goals that you want to set for 2019? And I guess, yeah, when this is released, it's going to be like a little time capsule.
Yes.
Okay.
First and foremost is lose more weight. I am currently on a weight loss journey, I guess. I don't know how to put it. But I have lost a considerable amount of weight recently. And so I want to continue that trend into next year and hit my goal weight. And hopefully, after I lose weight, I just want to maintain that weight and also maintain like a healthy lifestyle and just be healthy, be boring and cliche like that. Ugh, New Year's resolutions, new year, new me. No, but honestly, it's like, it's been a help a little bit mentally, to see myself lose weight, because I always have had a very low, perception of myself, if that makes sense. I haven't had the greatest self-esteem, and then obviously weight being bigger doesn't help with that. So, I decided like, fuck it, I'm gonna lose weight. So I did, and it helps. It helps to be like, yeah, I'm better now. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, that's first goal is to lose weight. And since I'm starting my new course next year, I want to make more friends. I want to be a positive human being. Don't be like 16-year-old Ben. Don't. Be friendly. Be nice. Just be positive, man. Like, spread that love. It's positive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, spread that love, dude. Spread that love. And apply myself in my course. I know that's weird to say, but like, I say weird, it's cliched, but it kind of, especially how I went last year. I said last year, how I went in 2017. If I don't apply myself, I know I'm gonna fail. But if I do apply myself, I don't even have to apply myself like a little bit. I mean, sorry, a lot. I only have to apply myself just a tiny little bit, because I know that if with like minimal effort, I can get high grades. At least academically. I've never really done a creative thing before, so this will be different. This will be a new experience as well. So I'm going to put 100% into all my work, hopefully. And my last goal is be happier, which is strange. Because, I say strange, because I feel like I am a fairly cheerful person most of the time, but when I'm by myself, oh, buddy, you better be prepared, because I'm not that happy. Oh. So, sorry. I don't know how else to deal with it other than humor and like trying to be funny about it. But I think by the time this episode comes out, I'll be seeing a counselor about being not happy when I'm by myself. Well, actually, in general too, because there are times. Anyway, that's different. That's a different conversation for a different time. But yeah, just don't. I feel like maybe I'm. I don't know. I just want to. I don't want to be as sad as I was this year, especially towards the end of this year. Yeah, they're my goals for next year.
And like, they're reasonable goals.
Yeah, I guess. The lose weight one is definitely reasonable, because I know I can lose weight. So that's something I know I can do. And if I can do that, then I'm hopefully able to do the other stuff.
Yeah. Because with that, obviously, you'll get the other positive aspects that come out of it. And
exactly.
Especially when it comes to self-worth and mental health and those sorts of lovely things that
by the way, like, legitimately, if you're feeling like down, go talk to someone. It doesn't have to be a counsel like I'm doing, but like, just talk. Like, it helps.
Talk to someone that you know that you trust, and
like a best friend, or like a group of people that I complain a lot to. not the group chat at all. What? What? No, but I mean,
it's, the evidence is there.
Also, do yourself a favor and go check up on friends that you think are not doing great. I recently did that, and I don't know if I achieved much, but I know I felt a little bit better knowing that he was okay, firstly, but also knowing that he's willing to open up to me about that kind of stuff. And so, go check up on your friends. Because not only will it make them feel good to be like, oh, my friend cares about me, but also
Yeah.
like it gives you a little bit of like a little warm fuzzy feeling on the inside, which is always a great thing.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I guess I'll just clarify this for the listeners that are in the know, that whilst I am doing, a counseling degree, I, for very personal and ethical reasons, do not therapize the kids.
Thanks, Dad, for being ethical.
Yes. But I always give advice to them, and my advice to them is, if they have anything to do with like mental health stuff, is go talk to someone in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause it honestly is the best way to do it.
And honestly, like, I always, I say this to my mates a lot, but like, and especially now, but if I am, if me, Ben, the guy who's always making dumb jokes, and is generally, like, has a fairly cheerful, demeanor, like, needs to see a counselor, and, or I'm not needs to, but is, seeking a counselor, is going to go seek a counselor. I think, like, that should just, like, exemplify the fact that not everyone is like happy 100% of the time, and that there are, like, you do need to go and make sure your mental health is a-okay.
Yeah, definitely. Before we wrap up, I guess there's there is something that I've sort of, we've been doing this podcast for a year and a half now.
Yep.
And it's been interesting to have seen everyone sort of grow.
Are we going to bring up a certain incident now?
Change. No.
Okay.
We're not gonna make reference to it at all, but
Okay.
it has been interesting to see Bin,
Oh, me.
we do give him shit for being the black sheep, but he has improved a lot in doing a lot of these like DNMs, and recognizing, parts of himself that he knows has been problematic, but is willing to change for the better.
I'm willing to yeet that negativity. Sorry,
God.
yurt that negativity.
God.
Sorry. I saw an opportunity and I took it.
Yes, of course you did. Yeah, as has been the case in every bloody episode. But yeah, like and I'm doing a lot of these like observation stuff for everyone. But yeah, it's been interesting to see you like change over the last 18 months.
How do you think I've changed though? Like what's the biggest change?
I guess it's you're more open about emotions, and your willingness to take action. Like, your experience, like, going through the whole fitness thing.
Right.
And your, and the way that you've been able to sort of self-motivate and to get the result that you desired, and, and now that your goal for 2019 is to keep pushing on, and that's something I guess, we haven't really ever seen, I guess, early on in the podcast as well. That's something we didn't see, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a change that,
I feel like that comes out of like a sense of just not wanting to be trash for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to live, I don't want to be lazy, and I don't want to be someone who's always like happy on the inside. No, sorry, happy on the outside, but hates himself on the inside. I don't want to be that person, you know. Like, if I'm happy on the outside, I want to be happy on the inside. I want to be genuinely happy. You know what I mean? And in order for me to be that way, and I feel like in order for anyone to be that way, is to be open about how you feel on the inside. You don't always have to put on a mask of being happy. The only time I put on a demeanor to be happy is when I'm at work. Like when I'm serving the resident, because I'm obviously in that state of like in that area, I need to be that way, because if I'm not, then I'm gonna lose my fucking job, and I don't want that. You know, I can't be like, fucking take your coffee.
Jesus.
Or shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. But yeah, I can't say that shit, you know. No one, you know what I mean? If you're working a retail job, you're fucked if you say that. But like, you know, or hospitality, any service job in general. But like, I don't want to be upset with myself. I don't want to be in self-loathing, because I know it's going to end badly for everybody, essentially, who's in any way emotionally invested in me. Like, I don't want to end up living some shit life, you know, being angry at essentially myself, but projecting it onto others, like some incel, essentially. Sorry to the incel community, not really. But, you know, like, I don't know, I don't want to be trash, essentially. That's, like, the basic. Like, I call myself trash, sure, but, like, I don't want to be trash. I don't want to be literal trash. I want to be someone who's, as I like, and this kind of connects back to, you know, what motivates me, is that, like, I just want to be someone who is positive and shares positivity and isn't a dickhead all the time. Well, I mean, no, at all, in general. I also want to be someone who is open-minded, is, actually gets things done, and, isn't always seen as, like, I guess ineffective is the word. Inefficient. That's, you know what I mean? I want to be someone who's actually happy. And in order for me to do that, I need to change how this is a personal thing for me. It doesn't, for different people, you know, different strokes for different folks. But for me, that involves losing weight. For me, that involves, learning how to forgive myself for things that I did when I was 16. And there's so much, like, 16-year-old me, and like, no, teenage me was like a real, like, son of a shit cunt. Like, he was a dickhead. Like, straight up. Like, there were a lot of words that I used back then, especially on social media for some reason, that I don't use now, because it's dumb, and why would you? You don't, like, it's not right. And every time I see anything of that caliber, I cringe and I delete the post. But, you know, anyway, my point is, like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to project my insecurities onto other people and be a bully. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to make other people feel bad. That's such a shit way of living your life. Like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to live that kind of life, you know? Anyway. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't want to be trash, man. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, we have many sayings on this podcast, and the biggest tenet is don't be the penetrable orifice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Don't eat shit, guys. Or as I would like to say, don't eat filthy ass. Because that'll give you E. coli. Don't eat was it Roman lettuce? I don't know what I say.
What?
There's a certain lettuce that has E. coli at the moment in America. I think it is.
Oh, in the state. Well, not anymore, hopefully.
Hopefully
not.
Sorry. Cracking my knuckles. Just so satisfying.
Good lord. There is a question before the final question that I'll ask you.
Okay.
And that question is, why did you say yes to doing this Great Mates podcast?
Why did I say yes? Huh.
Yeah, why did you
Why
say
did I
yes?
say yes? I guess I was, back then at least, I was looking for an outlet, creativity, for creativity, because I was finding university lacking in that aspect. I think before I did the pod, I was, before I did the pod, I was on a radio show for Swinburne, the 3SSR, called Movie Fight Club, and it was just about like arguing about movies and stuff. And I found that kind of lacking purely because, to put it simply, these guys were the kind of movie students, like film students, that were kind of snobs about movies. Where here's the thing. I'm gonna be in film school next year, technically speaking. I'm going to learn about film from a technical level and from a like a legitimate, like, you know what I mean, right? And so I understand where some of that snobbery would come from, but like at the same time, just let people enjoy movies for what they are. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, movies are entertainment, you know? It's why I watch the Avengers movies and like the Marvel movies. Like, I'm not watching them to get some kind of like superficial, like, you know, not superficial, some kind of like deeper meaning. You know what I mean? I'm watching it to see Thanos fucking dust half the fucking universe. Like, come on, man. Yeah, I don't know. I again, when I watch film, and I am like, I can be snobby about film. Like, I can be like, I can still critique the writing and stuff. It's not like that's like a bad thing. It's just more like I didn't enjoy their perspective of film and how it should be viewed, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I guess I was, I had just finished doing that. I stopped going to the recording. To the, what's the word? The broadcast. So I stopped going to the broadcast because, like, I'm not interested in this because I don't like the way you guys talk about films. So I stopped doing that, and then I moved on. I was still looking for some kind of creative outlet, and so I joined up with you guys because you said, let's do a podcast. I was like, that sounds great.
And look where we are now.
Exactly. I was very different. When I think about it, I was very different on that other radio show. On that radio show, sorry. I was very like, very mellow and very like, yeah, I'm a cool kid. Fucking, I like movies. But I wasn't like that. I guess cool. I was still very awkward. And I was very quiet. Anyway. Yeah.
That is interesting.
I find that really weird about myself. At work, I'm opening up a bit more, because I saw my area manager dance at the fucking, National Gallery of Victoria. How, like, bougie is that anyway? Anyway, sorry, I saw that happen, like, to club music. She was dancing to club music.
Oh.
Anyway, I saw my area manager do that, so I'm opening up a little bit more there. But generally at work, I'm fairly quiet and I don't really talk to people. Unless I'm talked to. I'm generally like, in new environments, I generally am very quiet and very meek and very like, shy. But I guess that's the same for most people. Unless you're like, super, super extroverted, which I'm not. I am extroverted. I'm built super extroverted though. But yeah, I wanted to do something creative. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I guess with this podcast, the reason why I was so, like, out there straight away is because, unlike the radio show where I'm seeing these people face to face, I usually just talk over a microphone. So it's easier for me to be open.
Cool. And before we finally wrap up, Bin, is there anything that we've brought up today that you sort of I guess has anything that we've brought up made you think about anything, like come to any realizations or something? Or learn more about yourself?
I mean, I learned that I don't really hate myself as much as I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, I guess it mainly just reinforces that I have a lot of things that I need to work through. And I'm going to work through those because I need to, because I want to, because I don't want to be a negative person. And so in order for me to do that, I need to take action. Yeah, this was a good experience because it helped me obviously admit to a lot of my faults, especially as a younger person. Again, don't bully your friends. That's not great. But yeah, and yeah, that's it. That's really it.
Okay, cool. So if people want to find you, Bin, where can they find you?
You know where to find me, boys and girls. You can find me on the Twitter sphere at Binaya.
Apologies if it doesn't garner laughter now, because we have been doing this podcast for 18 months.
I need to change it. Should I change it? I don't know.
No, because, well, you know, do you want that still as your brand?
Not really. I need to change my name. Oh wait, no, don't worry. Forget I said that. I forgot this was being released ages after, like, Christmas. Jesus.
Yeah. Yes. So, there's no point. God.
Sorry, I'm dating the pod.
I mean, you know, for I guess for timestamp reasons, and just so that in case anything else comes up, yeah, it's probably better that we dated the pod to before Christmas. But if you want to find me, you can do so basically anywhere, as Abangpinoy, ABANGPINOY. For the other great mates socials, you'll have to listen to the other episodes in this miniseries.
Because we don't want to say them anymore.
Yeah. Or, you know, just go listen to our previous
episode. Literally any other episode.
Yeah. Which you can find on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, basically anywhere you can sub to a podcast, you can find us.
Yurt.
Oh God, you're doing it again.
Every time.
If you want to hit us up on our socials, we can be found on Instagram and Twitter as Great Mates Podcast, GR8 M8S Podcast. Feel free to leave us any questions, slide into our DMs to do that, or use the hashtag Great Mates Podcast. You know,
Ask
if you dare. We should do an AMA, but we'll decide that for
maybe when we have more listeners.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to leave us a rating and review on iTunes, please do so. Give us 5 stars and leave us feedback, because we really want to make this podcast so much better.
We want to make us better. Should we just become an ASMR podcast? Maybe that'll work. I have a friend who does exclusively ASMR content on his YouTube channel, and he is very popular in the ASMR. I say popular, he's like semi-popular in the ASMR field, which is like insane to me.
Interesting.
He also does martial arts, which I find. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, okay. Then we might have discussed who this friend was before,
possibly
outside of podcast.
I think so.
But yeah, share us to your friends, and keep an eye out, because there'll be more episodes in this miniseries, more content that comes out in summer, and hopefully season 3 comes out very soon. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Bin, for joining me and doing this one-on-one episode.
I'm glad to be here. I want to thank my mom and my dad. I'm just kidding.
God. We'll see you guys in another episode. Bye.
Boing.